well, she's also got to have a touch of the nerves, and I think that's good.
And the 1987 French Open women's finalists come out onto the stadium court. Two lovely youngsters with beautiful bouquets of flowers, as you can see. Steffi Graf, if she wins, will be the youngest to ever win here in the French Championships. Martina Navratilova at age 30 has come to her peak just about right, Fred. She struggled a little bit early.
She did struggle in the early going, the early couple of rounds of this tournament. Catherine Tanvier from France gave her a lot of trouble in the first round, but the last two matches she's been hitting the ball particularly solidly and confidently. And I think, as Betsy mentioned in the stand-up, Dr. Renee Richards, who's been over here for the last 3 or 4 days, has helped her mental approach to this final.
Flip of the coin. I believe Martina won the toss and elected to receive. It is a blustery kind of day. Nice sunshine, a few broken clouds, but it is windy. It is gusty down that center court, so that could affect Martina's serve. And Fred, I think we both agree that as Martina serves, the rest of her game goes. So if she doesn't serve well, she struggles a little bit.
Exactly, and gets a little frustrated with it. And it was in conditions like this, actually windier than this, that Steffi Graf beat both Martina and Chris Evert in the semi-finals and finals of the Players International at Key Biscayne, the Lipton event there. So with the topspin, the added topspin that Steffi has and the pace of that forehand, she may not be affected as much by this wind as will Martina.
Fred, in Graf's match with Sabatini, when she really didn't play that well and when she was making a bunch of mistakes, she didn't have a lot to fall back on, did she? She didn't have a variety in her game. You mentioned that you thought that Sabatini had more to fall back on.
I think Sabatini certainly showed us that she had more variety of strokes and she could do something a little differently, whereas Steffi just consistently wanted to hit that slice and not much variety.
Let's take a look at the bio of Martina Navratilova. She is 30 years of age, from the United States, seated #1 here, and her WITA ranking is #1 in the world. Her 1986 prize money, $1,900,000 plus. Her career prize money, almost $12 million. Grand Slam history: she won this championship in 1982 and 1984. She's won Wimbledon 7 times, the last 4 years in a row included. Won the U.S. Open 3 times and won the Australian Open 3 times. And to get here, she had one sort of tough match. She lost a set in the second round, but really has cruised very nicely. And as Fred mentioned, the last 2 matches against Kota Kilsch and Everett, she really has hit the ball solidly and very cleanly, and she appears to be very confident. So Martina is fit and ready to go. She has yet to win a tournament this year. And both she and Lendl were quoted as saying, if you win the French, you forget what happened earlier this year.
I think everybody, all those players, the top players, will go along with that. I think you've got to try and key yourself to the Grand Slam events, Tony. I think that's where the players have a lot of pressure put on them at the moment, because the way the game is structured with the computer rankings, that they've got to get out there and compete and do their best from week in and week out. But to get your endorsements and your #1 ranking, I think the #1 ranking should be done on the major events. And you've got to prepare yourself for those and go through situations where you work a little bit harder some weeks than you do others.
I think there's no question that a player like Martina shoots for the major championships now. There's a good shot of Steffi Graf.
And we'll have a look at Steffi's profile. She is 17, of course, from West Germany, seeded 2 in this event, and her WITA ranking is 2. 1986 prize money, $612,000 odd, and career prize money, $1,218,277. Not bad for 17. Grand Slam history: semi-finalist of the French Open in '86, round of 16 at Wimbledon in '84 and '85, and of course a semi-finalist at the US Open in 95 and 1985 and 96. And to get here, she's had a pretty easy run through. Actually, the only time she's in trouble was down a set point against Helene Calesi in the 4th round, and then that very exciting semi-final against Gabriela Sabatini when she was down 5-3 in the 3rd set and came back to win at 7-5.
2 more minutes.
Those are the trophies. The gentleman on the left of your picture is the president of the French Federation, Philippe Chatrier, also the president of the International Federation. The players will get replicas of those trophies, and one of these two ladies will be very, very pleased to go up there and hold that overhead for all the photographers at the end of this match. And as you can see, the Martina's hair blowing around. It is gusty. It will definitely affect the toss. It'll affect the balls. They're not struck with a lot of pace. It'll affect some of the lobs, so a ball that might look easy at the net is not necessarily so easy to handle.
And it's not going to be consistent either, Tony. It's a bowl situation down there, so it gets around and blusters around in circles and off the sides of the stadium court. And so it's not a consistent breeze down there at ground level, so that creates more problems. One game you think you're playing with it and you throw up a lob and it goes miles out. The next time it falls very short, so it is going to be troublesome for the two ladies in this final today.
And of course, this is the first Grand Slam final of 1987 on Nine's Wide World of Sports. We're delighted to bring it to you. In a couple of weeks' time, of course, we'll be at Wimbledon, and we'll be with you every day of that championship. So lots of great tennis coming your way on Nine's Wide World of Sports. And incidentally, our pictures are from TF1 French television.
Martina, Navratilova, États-Unis.
Introduction of Martina Navratilova. And of course, we don't have control, and sometimes they'll be showing you crowd shots of people we don't know. We apologize for that.
À Mademoiselle Steffi Graf, République fédérale d'Allemagne.
And Steffi Graf.
Mademoiselle Navratilova a gagné le tirage au sort et a choisi de recevoir le service.
Martina did win the toss and is elected to receive, so she's going to try to get a quick break if she can. Hoping to get a break before Steffi Graf can settle down. Quote in a newspaper by Chris Everett about Steffi Graf. She says, "I used to say when I played her that she has a bright future. Now I have to say that she's got a great past, present, and future."
Mademoiselle Graf.
She also says there's no reason why Steffi can't win all the tournaments, Wimbledon, the US Open, especially now that Martina's 30 and I'm 32. So that sort of gives you a flair as we start
S'il vous plaît, mesdames, messieurs.
the women's final.
I think it's very important for Martina in particular to get off to a good start, and she's aggressive on this very first point here. Anticipates that cross court, knocks off the forehand volley. But if she gets away to a good start, she could be a difficult one to beat today. Good backhand approach here, and Graf elects to go for the lob. She hit the backhand cross court the point before, but missed it. Good smash there, love 30.
Premier service.
So a good confident beginning by the lady on the screen there right now. That's the shot I'd like to see Graf use a lot more of in today's final. That topspin backhand. We'll see it at the end of this rally. Good rally from here. And there, that's the one. She came over there and ran it wide, got the angle, 15-30.
See Martina try that drop shot, hitting the bottom of the net. She looked around, and there's no question that the wind had an effect on the flight of that ball. Those are things they're going to have to keep in mind. So Steffi Graf. This is the 8th time these players have met, and Martina has a 5-2 edge. And of course, some of those victories came when Steffi was even younger. I was going to say when Steffi was young. She's not quite 18 yet. So Martina with the edge. She's serving. Love won first set.
15-0.
Only played one time on clay, though, out of all those, and Steffi Graf was successful in the final of the German Open in 1986. 6-3, 6-2, 6-3, she won that match.
That return of serve has been very successful for Steffi Graf. She goes out wide, the left hand, and hits underneath the ball, but gets a good angle. Gets it down, and that's worked very well against Martina in past matches.
Tony, you know I'm a Steffi Graf fan, and I just am so impressed by the way she started off this match. She came out, and Martina was on the attack for the first 2 points. She was love 30 on the first serve, which you've got to feel she's nervous about. Then she comes back to win it, and now stands at 15-30 on Martina's serve.
Used the wind very well that time, and she got that lob up on the backhand side of Martina right here. Martina was not able to do much with it, and she was in trouble from then on, Fred.
Yes, and Steffi doesn't try to do much, just gets Martina on the run and makes Martina commit herself to the open court. Doesn't hit the big topspin forehand, goes back behind her. 15-40, 2 break points.
30-40.
Obviously, the wind is at Steffi Graf's back. So Martina is going into the wind. That'll fly. Good serve there by Martina.
41.
A little quick action there.
We wish we could move that fast, huh?
Apologise for some of the problems. We are taking our feed from TF1, and look at that breeze.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Navratilova.
There is a case, I think, where because the wind is at Steffi's back, she tried to put a little extra topspin on it to roll it back down in the court and couldn't handle it. Good depth by Navratilova, and that gets her even at 1-all.
Mademoiselle Navratilova.
This is the shot that Tony's talking about. Good forehand right into the backhand corner. It nearly gets behind Steffi Graf. She's forced to play a very heavy slice at that. That's a good comeback by Navratilova. First service game, down 2 break points to fight a way out of it. 1-all.
Fred, you always talk about mental toughness in these kind of conditions with the gusty wind. It's going to take some real self-control, because you're going to want to let people know you got a bad bounce or the wind blew this one out of bounds, and really got to concentrate.
That's an ace from Graf there as that one jumped up in the air. It was a good bumper, that one. Hit and jumped. Look where that fling flies to. On Garros, and you see Martina Navratilova cleaning the glasses there, very blustery, and of course the sand going to be a problem. She must have 2 or 3 pair out there today. And joining me in the commentary booth now, Betsy Nagelson. Betsy, a pretty good start from both ladies.
It really is, Fred. It's impressive to watch this young Steffi Graf, who will only be 18 in another week. She's, my opinion, started off very calmly today. I think more so than in her semifinal match against Sabatini. She's probably a little bit more nervous in that match. But it's impressive to watch the maturity in this girl.
Pretty confident walk out to receive the second service game from Martina Navratilova. But Martina, on the other hand, played a great game to save her first service game. Down 2 break points to come back in a situation like that. That's the sign of a champion.
A real important one, too, for Martina Navratilova. To win that first service game. Early stages of this match are very important. Martina's in a real pivotal stage in her career. She's had some losses. She's been starting to perhaps doubt herself just a little bit.
Yes, good overrule there by Isabel Groove. The linesperson called it good, but she was obstructed by Steffi Graf. So 15-all. A good serve out to the forehand there. Graf looking for the one down the tee to the backhand.
Yes, Steffi has been, even on Martina's first serve, been looking to hit forehands. Martina goes to her strength. Dropped right on the line.
40-15.
And the forehand long. An easy service game for Navratilova. Brings the games to 2-all in the first set. Cross-court backhand so well from the US Open. They played that magnificent semi-final match there last year.
30-0.
Such a wide variety of shots from Steffi Graf. She has every shot there is, and that's her best one, that forehand. She gets a lot of snap on the ball.
That one was short, too, inside that service line, and took Martina well outside the doubles court. So 30-love. Both girls having a pretty easy time on serve so far. The last couple of service games.
Premier service.
Up the forehand and takes the lead 3 games to 2.
Very impressive start from Steffi Graf. She has shown no signs of nerves, looks very calm. She's playing very aggressive tennis, seems very much in control of herself.
Dr. Renee Richards, Betsy, is basically over here to help Martina plot her matches and strategy. What do you think she has probably told her today?
Martina's certainly been searching, and she looked at Renee for some help. Renee was, of course, with Martina in her heyday, and I think Renee has probably instilled some confidence, tried to give her a real game plan and get her back on just thinking strategy. I think Martina has only one way to play, and that's aggressively try to get in and take the net position.
Well, in trouble now. That's 3 unforced errors, an easy overhead, which was certainly caused by the wind, but then a forehand drop shot into the net and a backhand. So that's 3 break points. You see right on the bottom of your screen, in the middle of the screen, is Dr. Renee Richards.
Newspapers were just full of the fact that Martina, after she lost in Rome in the semifinals to Sabatini, they were just full of almost calling it quits for Martina. And I think she had to take some real steps to try to regain her confidence and that belief in herself.
I think that's a shame, because it's such a long trip to the top of the tree. And once you reach the pinnacle and you start to lose a couple of matches, people are very quick to write you off.
Good shot from Martina. I think you're right, Fred, and Martina has admitted she is not ready to quit. She has a lot of good tennis left in her, and she does. As we see Martina helped with the let court, has time to move in, takes it early at the top of the bounce. She's still down a break point, though.
Well, Graf slides the backhand down the line. Martina came in to the net, but a good passing shot from the young West German.
4 jeux à 2, première manche.
Again, Martina coming in, trying to keep Steffi in the backhand corner.
Steffi really didn't try to do a lot with that, just tried to keep it low and let the wind take its course. So she's broken serve now, leads 4-2 first set.
15-0.
This is a critical time for Martina. Martina's got to just try and get back into this and not start shaking the head and worrying about the windy conditions. Otherwise, Steffi will be all over it. Need I tell you folks at home in Australia, this is the Stolly 7th.
And it is critical, and it's really important for Martina not to let this young lady, Steffi Graf, continue with this mental edge. She's got the upper hand right now.
Well, she also is thinking, I've got that service break, I just need to hold on, and that is the only double fault so far from Steffi Graf.
Talked about the pressure that Steffi Graf is under. She's got this winning streaks, won 6 tournaments this year, 38 matches in a row now under her belt.
2 break points now to Navratilova. And that'll do it. She's broken back. Graf has lost serve, and Graf still leads. And a shot there of Dr. Renee Richards. And on her right is Martina's friend Judy Nelson. And we're back live. Centre court action. Martina's still having problems with those glasses, and that's got to be a nuisance. Every changeover, you've got to spend a minute trying to clean that up.
Exactly, and it's just a distraction that she really doesn't need.
And Graf goes out on court leading 4 games to 3, but just having lost serve. Lions Wide World of Sports coverage. And the finals of the Ladies Singles Championships at the 87 French Open.
Be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of games. It was an important game for Martina to get under her belt. Don't want to let Steffi Graf get too much of a lead, because then I think Martina will really be in trouble.
I think if Steffi had held serve and gone to a 5-2 lead, then mentally Martina would have been certainly a bit mixed up. And there's a nervous double fault. It's Martina's first double fault today. I think the game plan is to hit the topspin forehand to the Graf backhand and just try and do it well enough that she has to go for that cross-court backhand, because basically when she comes over it, that's the way she goes. And again, a good volley.
Martina's successes come when she's been able to get into the net, which is her strong position. It's not easy to do when Graf is hitting her ground strokes and keeping you deep. And if you can't do anything with the first volley, that's what you're faced with. How far back Martina had to play that volley, back on the service line, leaving too much court for her to cover.
Well, Martina there going back to Steffi Graf on 3 occasions. Graf shaking her head, not being able to do anything decisive about it.
Both girls playing well within themselves. Steffi not panicking and trying to go for too much on the returns, making Martina hit the volley. Martina's experience paying off.
40-30.
Premier service.
Kind of interesting to watch Martina applaud Steffi Graf twice now. It's unlike her.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Graf.
Graf on the return of serve and the backhand side moves forward on that slice backhand, and that's the thing that's a problem for Martina, because she's not sure whether she's going to slide it down the line or take it across in front of her body to the forehand volley. Let's see what happens this time.
This is a break point for Steffi Graf to give her a 5-3 lead in this first set. That's a good play from Martina to take a second serve and follow it in.
Égalité.
A bit of a surprise tactic there, and pushed a little bit at the volley and had kept it short, and that stopped Graf from getting a crack at the passing shot. Back to deuce.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Navratilova.
Martina really taking her time. She moves sometimes awfully quickly in between points. Plays at a pretty fast pace.
Je.
Is that a sigh of relief to get that game under her belt? Good athleticism from Martina.
Je, Mademoiselle Navratilova.
This one lands just out, and I think Martina's pretty pleased about it.
Great tennis in that point from both girls.
S'il vous plaît.
4-all, all even.
La balle est bonne.
And we'll see it again. Steffi obviously doesn't like it. She's circled a mark. Martina steps in and hits a backhand topspin, which is something she's done very well.
Let's see what Steffi says here.
It was clearly out. I mean, even... Sorry? How can you see from here that I'm staying next to it and I saw it out?
0-15.
So Isabelle Rouve stands firm and says, there's a photo right in the center of your screen. There is Steffi's father, and has coached her from the time she was about 4 years of age. I don't see Steffi question too many calls, but the lineswoman would not get up to check the mark. She said, I was standing there and saw it out. Chair umpire said, sorry, love 15. Boy, Martina played the wind pretty well on that one and just missed.
Big serve from Steffi Graf suggests that she's not too upset
30-15.
by the first point. Tell you, she has all the shots. Martina sure hitting the lines in this game.
Good tactics there, because she's rolling that one firm but high, and it landed right on the line. 30-all.
Premier service.
That's a great point from Martina. She continues to attack.
30-40.
Good control on the volley. Gets it back behind Steffi. And again, just firms the volley out in front of her. Gives her a game point.
Premier service.
That was a great move. She went back behind Graf on that last forehand volley, and as soon as Graf comes over that backhand, it pretty much goes cross-court. Martina's anticipated that 3 or 4 times. And a break point opportunity disappears.
40-1.
Martina says, well, the wind's not helping matters. Juice.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Graf.
Game point.
You can really hear the wind.
Égalité.
Martina has certainly established her pattern.
Again, a cross-court backhand bet. She hasn't attempted down the line when she's come over that one, not once yet.
Exactly.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Graf.
A miss-hit forehand, so game point again to Graf.
The wind is more of a problem for Martina because she likes to have that perfect timing. She doesn't have quite as much margin for error as Graf does.
Extros or something for the glasses to keep wiping the sand, and there's a good look at Steffi Graf.
Time.
Nine's Wide World of Sports coverage of the 1987 French Open. Ladies singles final, and an exciting one has turned out to be. Another shot there right in the center of your screen.
Martina's definitely asked for something because Judy was starting to make a move to go get it. And it's really interesting to note the contrast between the two. Steffi's
Au service, Mademoiselle
concentration is so good.
Navratilova,
She doesn't look
Adrien
around, pay too much attention to what's going on, all business. And Martina has always been much more aware of circumstances and things happening in the crowd.
Well, she always looks for support from Team Navratilova, doesn't she?
Exactly. And her friend Judy Nelson accompanies her most tournaments.
I like the way, again, that Graf played that passing shot. She didn't overplay it, didn't try and do something that she wasn't comfortable with.
It really shows a sign of real maturity. She's not panicking. She's well within herself.
Love 15, second set. Again, Steffi Graf just making Martina play the volleys, making it very difficult for Martina to really establish dominance here. Love 30.
taking Steffi Graf to 3 set points in the first set, but what an example of her speed as well as her strength.
0-40.
Well, Martina had just about hit the winning forehand, and she struggled to get the ball back off the wrong foot, off balance, and got it up high enough that Martina couldn't do a lot with the backhand overhead. Probably the most difficult shot in tennis. And then she just thought, well, love 30, I'm going to crank up, and she made the cross-court backhand, so 3 set points. And there it is. Great control of racket speed. Another good lob. And Steffi Graf has taken the first set 6 games to 4 after just 37 minutes.
Jeu et première manche, Mademoiselle Graf, 6 jeux à 4.
Talk about composure, Betsy, during that point.
Well, exactly, and we talked about the fact this is her first Grand Slam final. How will she handle it? Will she be able to not be intimidated by the occasion? And she is so calm and relaxed and confident.
I think she was a lot more uptight in the semi-final match against young Gabriella Sabatini. I shouldn't say young Gabriella Sabatini. She's 6 months younger than Steffi, maybe 12 months younger.
First serve percentages, 76 for Martina and 70 for Steffi Graf.
And an ace from Graf.
15-1.
Makes it number 3.
S'il vous plaît.
Excellent move there from Navratilova. That just showed the experience of years of getting a good forehand down the line and then moving into the center court to try and cut off the angle, take away the angle a little. 30 all. I think Martina's got to continue the tactics, Betsy. I don't feel that the tactics have been wrong going into the Graf backhand and coming to the net. I don't think she's going to win it from the back of the court.
I agree with that totally. Steffi is too strong and too fast.
Steffi Graf holds serve, and she takes the lead 1 game to love in the second set, winning the first 6-4. To center court stayed Roland Garros. There, Martina Navratilova in trouble, lost the first set and fighting for her life in the second. I'd now like to welcome back Tony Trabert to the broadcast booth.
Thanks very much, Fiery. There's checking the net here, and it still remains a very, very gusty day, and it's tough for both players to really perform their very best.
S'il vous plaît.
It's important for her to maintain some confidence. Good service motion for Martina Navratilova, and that's her strength, the serve and volley. She really hasn't played that many tournaments this year. She only played 4. Not really in the best clay court practice, and her type of game, she needs to stay sharp through tournament play.
Zero.
Good eye by Martina. Gusty conditions like this, that's a pretty tough ball to let go.
Sure is. I don't think the win or the loss here is critical for Martina. I just feel the way she performs, the way she handles herself out there mentally, though, is critical at this stage in her career. She knows Steffi Graf is right on her tail.
Yeah, that took a bad bounce. And Martina has a good kick serve, but
Jeu, Mademoiselle Navratilova. Un jeu partout.
games are 1-all. A good service motion to see how Graf stepped around it, and then it just jumped away. Must have hit something. So games are 1-all. That's the situation.
Zéro 15.
That you would think sometimes in these kind of conditions you're better off if not hitting the ball so hard. Don't play it too close to the lines and let the wind do some tricks with it. Your opponent takes the eyes off the ball just for a moment. It can make an easy miss for you.
No
question that the wind is a very big factor. It probably suits a player with more spin, more margin of error. Martina hits the ball just a little bit flatter than Steffi Graf.
If experience in Grand Slam finals is a factor, you've got to go with Martina. This is her 24th Grand Slam singles final, and Steffi Graf's first.
First of many, too, probably, Tony, and she sure has handled this first one very impressively mentally. I mean, she's going for it. She's not nervous. She's calm. She's well within herself.
She is that indeed, though she's down a break point here. That's out, so Martina gets a break, and she now leads 2-1, second set. West Germany's Steffi Graf has won the first set in this women's final, 6-4 over Martina Navratilova. She has just lost her serve. Martina leads 2-1 in the second set. Steffi's father, who gave up a used car business and insurance business to build an indoor tennis facility when he realized that his daughter Steffi wanted to play tennis, and they are a team. He says, I don't mind being tough. I don't mind being disliked. I'm going to protect my daughter. As long as she ends up with a good reputation, that's fine with me. I don't care what they think about me. Those that know Steffi's father have mixed emotions about him, but he certainly is a strong supporter for his daughter Steffi. So Martina to serve here at 2-1.
shakes her head at that shot. I mean, that's just pure brute strength from Steffi Graf, because this is a deep approach from Martina, and Steffi catches that ball almost behind her, and with her strong wrist is able to whip it across from Martina.
Everyone talks about Martina's physical strength, but I think she just about met her equal here in Steffi. Steffi is tall, she is strong, and they say that she's still growing. And she is a very determined young lady who concentrates extremely well.
Steffi having to move forward, and Martina picking that ball up early and going right back at Steffi. Holds her racket up to apologize. Not meaning to hit her, of course.
An easy service game for Martina.
Mademoiselle Navratilova.
That's the situation. Steffi Graf has won the first set 6-4. She is serving now at 1-3 in the second set.
Martina seems to have settled down a little bit in the second set. She's stuck with her game plan, which she has to continue to do.
15-0.
That is the fourth ace for Graf.
Tony, you talked about Steffi's father, Mr. Graf, and I heard and read where he's going to build a grass court for Steffi so that she can get match practice time for Wimbledon.
Somewhat of a dangerous play by Graf, but she gets away with it.
40-0.
Here's another look, and you see this was not really what you call a good drop shot. Short preparation. No underspin on that at all. Martina got to it, but couldn't keep it in play. So Graf holds serve. Martina leads 3-2, second set.
Mademoiselle Graf.
Steffi Graf says, you know, I want to be consistent, and when I'm on the court, I'm all concentration, and all I want is the best for myself. And I guess that's a pretty good game plan. And of course, she's been absolutely perfect in 1987, having not lost a match. She's won 6 tournaments in a row. This is her first Grand Slam final. She's playing a legend, a real champion, Martina Navratilova. And as you say, Betsy, she has handled herself extremely well thus far, though she is down a break here.
Both girls came into this match with really a lot happening. Steffi Graf with the added pressure of not losing a match, being touted by the press and the players as a real potential, perhaps this year, #1. And Martina with some losses, a little fragile mentally as of late. Really important for her to establish herself again as invincible like she felt last couple of years.
Excellent play again. That underspin backhand down the line. More interested in getting the ball low here, Betsy. It gets down nice and low. Martina has to stretch and still try to volley up. No way she can do much with that one. I personally don't think Martina can have the same success that she's had in the past if she doesn't play more tournaments, because she needs to be razor sharp, tournament sharp. And I know that, you know, at age 30 she wants to take a little more time off, but she will not have the success, in my opinion. Her game is based on such precision, and when she lays off a little bit, and as you mentioned, being a little frail psychologically, mentally at times, losing confidence, I just don't think she can do it. And again, it's sort of amazing to me that we're in the month of June. She's already lost more matches than she did all last year, and she's not won a tournament yet.
15-30.
Good service motion. It's a lot of leg action. The strength of Steffi Graf. Just watch her move over and judge this backhand and catch it well out in front.
Martina gave her plenty of time with that chip approach.
I think you're right about Martina's preparation. She needs to hit a lot of tennis balls.
You can hit a lot though, but if you're not match tough, it's not the same in practice.
She said part of the reason she wasn't able to play as many tournaments as she would have liked, she had a few little nagging injury problems. She didn't use that as an excuse, but certainly didn't play as many tournaments as she would have liked to have.
I think that half volley by Martina surprised Graf. I don't think she thought it was coming over, because we watch her here. You'll see Graf sort of hesitate. Right here on this stretch, Graf stops, takes a little skip, said, oh my gosh, it's come over. Then she got over and had to flick at it, knocked it wide. So Graf is now trailing 2-4 in the second set. Absolute capacity house here at Roland Garros.
Steffi has really picked some corners on her serve, and she's hitting it quite hard.
I think both gals have served extremely well under the conditions, being as gusty as it is. Martina's ball just floated over the baseline.
S'il vous plaît.
Steffi having to jump for that forehand. Martina on the run.
Good approach down the middle, deep.
I think that's a good play to take away angles from Steffi Graf.
Also, when you take that second serve like that, sometimes you can say to Steffi, look, if you miss your first serve, I'm going to jump on your second serve and come in. That may make Steffi start spinning the first serve. That takes one of her weapons away. You got a gusty day. Serving's not easy. And you say, boy, if I miss my first serve and I know that she's going to take my second serve early and try to come in, I've got to really pay attention to get a deep serve in. Another break point, or a break point here for Martina, which would give her another service break. If she could win this one, she would be serving at 5-2. Pretty much, you would suspect, ice the second set if she can get this break. Here's where Martina might try to put some pressure on the second serve. She had her choice. She could have taken it and come in. She just tried to go for a winner. The ball was short. Again, is the all-important Fred Stolley's 7th game.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Graf.
Somehow, when you get into the finals of a Grand Slam event, I think the first game's important. And probably the most important is the last one, Betsy. So Steffi Graf holds on, but Martina has a break at 4-3 in the second set. That's the situation here in the women's finals. Steffi Graf, the #2 seed, has won the first set 6-4. Martina leads with a break at 4-3 in the second set. We're back on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Betsy, any particular thoughts so far, strategy-wise or anything?
Well, it'll be interesting, Tony, to see if this last game doesn't turn out to be fairly critical. Martina had a break point to, as you mentioned, to get 2 breaks in this set, which would virtually ice this second set for her. It'd be interesting to see just if that affects her much mentally, because Steffi Graf is not going to give Martina too many opportunities out here.
You might remember the men's semis yesterday, Wilander and Becker. Becker led 4-2 and had 6 or 7 break points on Wilander's serve to get 2 breaks up. Didn't win that and ended up losing the set 6-4. So sometimes when you have that one break, the other one doesn't seem so important, but it can become very, very important, obviously. That is double fault #2. Again, with these blustery conditions, I'm surprised that we have not seen more double faults. Martina served 2, Steffi served 1. Steffi has 4 aces and Martina has 1. You don't expect a lot of aces on this kind of a court.
Yeah. Ball is out.
Martina relies a lot on her first serve, even though on this surface it's not as crucial, but still, with a forced serve and volleyer, it does seem to dictate the play.
I like Fred's observation. Here's Graf going topspin off the backhand, but cross court. Now she goes down the line, but under the ball. And when you see the racket preparation, if you know that, you can move a little more quickly. Gives you a pretty good edge. If Graf would go down that line with the topspin a few times, as though that she might miss the shot, it would then say to Martina, hey, I can't just cover the cross court.
Plus, these two girls have played each other, and certainly Martina and Steffi both will make it a point to know what the other player is going to do so that they can get that added step.
Missed it. I wonder where this lob was going to go wide because the wind is blowing. Let's take a look at it and see if we can tell. Well, it's going to be awful close. And when you're in that kind of a position, Martina might have been smart to let it go because she could have caught up to it if, in fact, it did stay in. Of course, it's very easy from up here. We don't have a lot of wind up here, at least blowing from the trees. It's blowing from us. And a break point for Graf.
30-40.
And this is a real important stage for Martina. She's got to take some time.
Terrific return. It seemed as though Graf sensed that ball would be coming wide. Here's another look, and watch Graf steps up quickly to the left.
Mademoiselle Graf,
under the ball, but with some pace. Didn't just chip it. Got it right at her feet, and it's now 4-all.
S'il vous plaît, mesdames, messieurs, pour la concentration des joueuses, je vous demanderai un peu de silence. Merci. Premier service.
Now, all of a sudden, the chance to get that second break looks awfully big, doesn't it, for Martina?
Sure does. It'll be important to see how Martina's able to deal with it. Will she be able to forget it and just play?
I think she does that very well now. There was a time when she let those things bother her. She's a real champion. She's been around too long.
0-30.
2 forehand errors by Graf. Opens things up a little bit for Martina.
Premier service. de 30.
Martina knows that this is a stage where perhaps Steffi Graf might start to think about winning the match. She's got to hold serve here at 4-all.
Down 2 break points, 15-40. And Martina's gotten the break back. A golden opportunity for Steffi Graf to take the lead at 5-4, have Martina serving uphill in the second set, but instead a good game by Martina, a couple of unforced errors by Graf, and Martina, who was fidgeting with the strings in her racket at the moment. That little device puts little gadgets at the cross strings so they don't move so much, keeps it from them moving and wearing out.
Time.
I don't know how mental that type of thing is. And in our day, back in the dark ages, we didn't have those kinds of things. We just used our fingers and straightened out the strings a little bit and went about our business. At any rate, the #1 player in the world, Martina Navratilova, and the top seed here, is coming out to serve for the second set at 5-4, getting a good solid ovation from the crowd. They want to see more tennis. And of course, following this match, we'll be bringing you the men's doubles final. And there'll be some noise in that match because France has Guy Forget and Yannick Noah. As you watch the replay here, the pretty easy smash by Martina. The Frenchmen play Anders Jarid of Sweden and America's Robert Seguso. So that'll be coming up following the women's. Stay with us. We'll have the ceremonies following this match. Presidential Tribune. That was a very, very good volley by Martina. The ball's below the top of the net. What I like about this one, she gets some good underspin on it. Sometimes she has a tendency to swing at it. Watch her cut under that ball, place it well. No way Graf could get to it. 30 love.
Faute, second service. Correction.
Overruled by the umpire. Isabelle Rouve. See, Graf shows you no expression there. She's concentrating as hard as she can, and that's the way to do it. That's our umpire. Yeah, they all do a great job. I'm sure there was a mistake here and there, but I think the lines people and the umpires do a terrific job, and they don't get enough credit. Another topspin backhand cross court picked off by Martina, and she has 3 set points.
Good move from Martina. picks this ball up very well. Such a good athlete she is, and she knew where it was going to go and was ready.
So with a good first serve, Navratilova wins the second set at 6-4 after 1 hour and 9 minutes of play.
Jeu et seconde manche. Mademoiselle Navratilova, 6 jeux à 4. Balle neuve, new ball.
So we go to the third and final set. And in the final set in this championship, there is no tie break. Delayed move there by Graf. A little late getting in for that volley.
Some confident play from Martina. She continues to attack, continues to move in. She's not afraid to go down that line of the Graf forehand, particularly when she has Steffi on the run like that.
Now that ball hit the service line. That's just one of the breaks. Lead tape lines, and watch how this ball stays down. Martina thinks she's going to get a nice swing at it, and whoops, stays down. Here it is right here. We come back to the live action. 15:30. Martina increasing the pressure. She has 2 break points.
Good pattern she's put herself into here. She's got Steffi deep in the backhand corner and then nails one down to the forehand. Steffi on the run has to try to pass. So she's in some trouble with 2 break points. First game of the third set.
Second service.
Martina standing inside that baseline. If it's short, you might see her try to attack. Another topspin backhand cross court. That one's successful. Martina applauds with her racket, and the full house loves it.
This one, Steffi Graf keeps lower. She doesn't get as much spin, so it doesn't go as high over the net as some of her previous ones. But she's still facing a break point.
Steffi was lucky there because that previous ball took her so far out of court. She ran around it, and she was almost outside the doubles line and didn't make a good shot. And the whole court was open. Martina couldn't make it. Deuce. It's out.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Graf.
One of the tough things on the court level when this wind blows like this is the court's drying up and it blows some of the grit and the sand, and of course it gets in the players' eyes, the lines people's eyes. Every once in a while they have to stop and wait for the little gusts to stop. So Steffi Graf holds serve and wins the first game of the final set. Welcome back on Nine's Wide World of Sports. A little sprinkle job on the court to takes the dryness out, the slipperiness out. It was funny the other day here when they had a rain delay. They had a torrential downpour for a few minutes. They covered the court, swept the water off the tarpaulin, took the tarpaulins back, and then they come out after they worked on it a little bit and they sprinkled the court, and everybody booed them. After a rain delay, they end up sprinkling it. The grounds crew does a tremendous job here. And that's the situation. Graf the first at 6-4. Navratilova the second, 6-4. Martina wants to say something to Graf, I think. Betsy, you know both these gals personally. Are they, you see the wind now, the trees being buffeted around. Are they friends? Are they acquaintances? Do they like one another, not like one another? What would be your comment there?
Well, Tony, I don't think they spend a great deal of time together or anything. I think they're pretty cordial to each other. Steffi is on Martina's tails, and Martina knows it. I don't think she wants to become too friendly with her, but certainly Steffi is a very friendly and a very sincere girl. She hasn't changed much with all the successes that have come her way. I think she's very well liked among her peers.
I think that says it all. If your fellow player likes you, that means you're all right. They see when you win, when you lose, when you're sick, when you're feeling good. Martina the serve.
15-0.
Still gusty. Tough to control the ball.
Martina's continuing to keep the pressure on. She really moved in well after that serve, really wanted it. She did have 2 break points on Steffi Graf's serve previous game, wasn't able to capitalize on it. See Steffi looking for a forehand.
They've asked Steffi if she feels the pressure of having this 38-match victory string. And she said, no, I don't think about losing. You know, she knows she's not going to go forever, but and I think that's the right attitude. Say, I like the way it is. I'm going to try to keep it going.
Very mature attitude, very poised for a girl of such a young age.
40-15.
Everyone sort of knows it's just a matter of time for Steffi Graf, and it could be very soon.
Yeah, it cannot happen after this tournament. Even if Steffi wins, Martina still remains #1 on the ranking. Well, after a double fault, a good service ace #2 for Martina. So games are 1-all in the final set.
Un jeu partout, dernière manche.
A view of some of our cabines over here where we do our work.
You know, when you watch Steffi attack the net,
15-0.
it's just obvious at how much more she can improve.
You wonder why she doesn't go in there more often, because she is a good volleyer. And she also has such good ground strokes that she can take any short ball and pound it and come in and should be in pretty good shape. Good drop shot into the wind. Holds it up when you have that backspin on it.
You see Martina's able to get to this ball soon enough and quick enough and early enough to disguise it well and puts a lot of backspin on it. 15-all.
See, I think Steffi could have been very easily into the net behind the previous shot and had a pretty simple volley. 15-30. That's long. 2 break points for Navratilova.
See if Martina can't do a better job of capitalizing on a break point here. She did have 2 break points in the first service game, Steffi Graf's.
30-40.
Well, once again, that ball hits right on the service line. Takes the usual bad bounce. Watch Martina get set up when this backhand comes. She thinks she's going to have a pretty easy shot. And watch her reaction. The ball stays. See, didn't even get a swing at it. And that's just the way it is when you play on this kind of a court with those lead tapes. Deuce. Boy, those break points just get away from you in a hurry.
Mademoiselle Graf.
Graf holds once again and leads 2-1 in the final set. So in the 2 service games of this final set, Steffi Graf has been down break points in each, but Martina has not been able to capitalize. Graf has held. We come back on Nine's Wide World of Sports, and I welcome back Fred Stolle. Fred, you know, at this stage, everyone has to feel the pressure. I mean, you don't have to wait till the 7th game of this 3rd set.
No, definitely not. The 7th game of the last one was pretty important, though, and I've got to give it to Martina. She has stuck with a game plan, Tony, and she's hit that topspin forehand into the backhand corner, and occasionally she's not afraid to go to the forehand. And this is, I think this has caught this young lady by surprise on 2 or 3 occasions on very big points, but it's anybody's title at the moment at this stage of the 3rd set.
You know, one thing I don't like to do is give you a lot of credit, but you've been absolutely right. Steffi Graf has hit every topspin backhand cross court, and Martina's picked them.
Another attempt there, but as you mentioned, players at this level, Martina watches the head of the racket, and just like this here, you watch yourself. Watch the head of the racket of Steffi Graf. It's there, it starts down low and then comes up high over the top of the ball. A great volley. So right from the start of the stroke on that Graf passing shot, Martina can read it.
And if she only goes one way with it, she knows where to go. Here's a good move here by Martina. She sees she's hit a good shot, gets in for the floater, and makes a heck of a volley there.
Couldn't have been better, right in the corner. Well, there's the one we've been talking about. The first one down the line with it.
She was almost forced to go down the line with that one, too, because it was behind her a little. She was late, but she did it well.
Well executed shot here. And Martina, you could see Martina take a step towards the center of the court.
Ramasseuse, s'il vous plaît.
Well, that was a good play, even though she missed that shot. It allows Martina to think the next time she gets an important serve over there, because that Graf forehand is pretty devastating. 40-15.
At the forehand volley. Steffi's father contemplating. Another cross-court topspin, but you don't know what effect the previous one down the line had on her. What I was saying,
15-0.
you just enjoy this replay. You're in the finals of a Grand Slam event. You have the number 1 and number 2 players in the world, and we're a set apiece at 2-all. That's the way it should be.
And that's where I think Martina has stayed in this match. She's been able to slice that backhand, but here she's not afraid to go back to the Graf forehand, and Steffi's looking for that. You could see her bouncing over there and edit to play a slice backhand. But I think this particular match and the both semi-final matches are, unfortunately, Chris Evert played badly in her semi-final, but it's great for women's tennis because Evert and Navratilova put on a fantastic final here for us last year, and this one has been in the same mould. That was not as easy as it looked, that shot, because Martina got it up here, miss-hit, but it's up with the breeze. Now, you know Steffi's going to have a good crack at this, but that's a tough, quick swing, and at a 15-30 point, a risky time to do it. 30-all.
One thing when you got these gusty winds, I think that'll help you is early racket preparation and a little shorter preparation.
There it is. She's sitting on that volley, and Graf knows it, but she's unable to go back down the line with that shot. Good approach shot here from Navratilova. Look how close she is in on this return. She goes right to the spot. Look.
Of course, another option Graf has would be the offensive lob as Martina closes in. Break point, and Martina Navratilova has broken serve and leads 3-2 in the final set.
Mademoiselle Navratilova.
Player's about to come back out on court.
We have those little deals called stringerlings that they pop in there, and a little plastic that save the life of your string. So obviously, if you're playing in a match this important, you don't want to break a string if it's your favorite racket, and the players avoid it by doing that type of thing.
So Navratilova with a break, serving at 3-2 in the final set. A shot that Graf does not use as frequently as she might, where you roll it cross court, but not hard. Just get a little better angle. That was not hit very hard, but you see it landed inside the service court. Love 15. Two good returns by Graf. Put Martina in trouble.
It's not as though Martina played a bad point. It was a good first serve, an excellent return. She was forced to play the half-volley drop shot. It wasn't a bad one, but the backhand, Steffi was there. An easy overhead, so a little bit of a chance now for Graf to get back on even terms. Point.
Very solid by Graf, and she has 3 break points.
We've said it so many times, but it's worth repeating as we see this perfectly executed backhand volley. It's worth repeating that it's so tough to hold serve after you've just broken serve, and then also to serve for a set or for a match. For some reason, we can't explain why, but it is. There it is, and she's back on even terms. Why do you think that is the case, Tony, as we look at this fantastic 4 points played by the West German youngster?
I think
Martina didn't do very much wrong in that game.
No, she didn't. I think there are 2 things that might happen. One, you might play it too cautiously and not really do what got you there. Number 2, you might be a little relaxed. Boy, I got the break. I'm okay now. And all of a sudden, you know, you don't play a good game, or they play a better game because you don't put the pressure on them. Graf doesn't like the call. Martina's going to circle the mark and says, yes, it's out.
Now there's a little bit of gamesmanship coming in. We haven't seen this.
When Graf goes under the backhand, Fred, she'll go either way. Here she lets go down the line. but she can go cross-court with it.
It was the right shot for Martina. Martina's got to play that net game. That's the only way she's going to win this event, is to keep the pressure on.
Perfect lob into the wind by Martina.
15 up.
Packed house now, Roland Garros.
That's where Steffi gets in trouble.
15-30.
The deep forehand, or when you can rush her in the forehand, she's late with the preparation, has to sort of flick at it. Perhaps the one weakness she has on that side. And 2 break points now for Martina, who is trying to take a 4-3 lead in this final set.
Good approach here, and Graf knows that she's gone cross-court with that big, heavy topspin, so she tries to keep this one low, but Martina sits there on the volley.
That's gone. Martina's broken back. Holds 2 fingers up, so I need 2 more games. She leads 4-3 in the final set. A very determined Martina Navratilova has gotten her service break back in front of this capacity house at Stade Roland Garros. About 17,000 spectators, probably a few more crammed in here. And Martina will come out serving at 4-3 in the final set. So Graf once again has to produce some winners. She did it very well to get the service break back a couple of games ago. Jerry Lewis enjoying the tennis. And we certainly hope you're enjoying it here on Nine's Wide World Sports. And that's the situation.
Well, Martina getting some applause from the crowd. She's been a great champion here, and rightfully so. Struggling the early part of the year, but right now in the driver's seat if she can hold serve. Another good point from both players, because Martina does the right thing here, and this kid doesn't crack under pressure. She just slides that backhand the same as she's been doing all day.
She got it down low too, so there's no way Martina could be aggressive with it. Boy, that surprised me, Martina hitting that one in the air. With this blustery wind and that defensive lob, not this one, but this right here now. This is hit way high. Graf has time to get back, and why Martina would hit. See, we're backing up. Her feet were still moving, but she got away with it. 15 all.
Well, great play. The nice thing on that overhead, though, Tony, I think she realized she couldn't do much with it. She just kept it safe and hit it at half speed down the center of the court. And look at this volley here. She moves right to it on top of the net. Well executed.
So Martina has 2 points to move out to a 5-3 lead in this final set. There's a top spin down the line, and you see Martina wasn't even close to it, because as Fred has mentioned, when you see the racket drop low to high, watch Martina looking to the left. Still a game point for Martina. No more. Boy, that's a heck of a shot. Terrific. Fred, what do you do? This is a good serve by Martina.
As good as you can get, and there she slides that one right down, just close to the line. Doesn't try to overplay the shot. Martina there showing her great sportsmanship by just giving a clap on the racket. Back even.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Navratilova.
Good stretch forehand volley again there, and Graf had to come over that one down the line. Martina just sitting right on top of it. Game point again. And there it is.
Well, Martina holds her serve, and Steffi Graf will be serving at 3-5 in the final set.
Mademoiselle Navratilova, 5 jeux à 3, dernière manche.
If you whisper in Graf's ear, Fred, you say, hey, look it, you got to hold your serve. Don't worry about getting a break. Don't be thinking about that. First things first. Martina would love to close it out right here, not have to serve for the match.
Well, this young lady was in the same position in the semifinals against, at that stage, Gabriella Sabatini, down 3-5, and came back out of it. Mental toughness. We'll see what happens here. Short one there, lucky to get that over the net, and Martina slides into it, but can't make the backhand herself. 30 love.
That's about as solid as you can hit it. 17 years of age, Steffi Graf. Look at this poise.
40-0.
Beautiful execution. 40 love. Graf holds and keeps her hopes alive. When we come back, Martina will be serving for the match. Doctoring of the strings by Martina. She wants to put the very special touch on that racket, Fred, because she's coming out to serve for the match. And as you mentioned to me in the break, this was the end where Steffi was able to break her the last time.
Broke her to love, and here we are contemplating, well, do you think she'll win it, Tony, or do you think she'll win it, Fiery? And you don't know. What do you folks at home think? Who's your favorite? This has been an unbelievable women's final, and this young lady, the poise that she has shown in her first Grand Slam final, to me, is just remarkable.
Both players get a well-deserved hand from this huge crowd. This is what it's all about. You got the two best players in the world. 2 6-4 sets. Martina serving at 5-4 in the third. And again, there are no tie breaks in the final set. Wonderful return under pressure.
Well, Martina was looking for a big first serve. She got it there right on the line. Graf was lucky to dig that one out, but kept it low.
She took it awfully early, which is pretty courageous under these circumstances.
S'il vous plaît.
Now that's unfortunate for Martina. Serves her 4th double, but someone up in the corner of the crowd was yelled out as she was about to start the motion for her 2nd serve. She had to stop and double clutch, and it's just too bad those things happen. Tough 2nd serve here now, 15-30.
Against the wind.
She serves another double, 2 in a row. Her 5th double of the match. And I guess part of that you got to give credit to Steffi Graf, who's been making some awfully good service returns.
Particularly, as we mentioned, from this end, she broke to love in the last service game of Martina because she's slicing with the wind and, of course, picking up a little bit of pace with the wind on that particular shot. Good serve.
You know what Martina's going to do, don't you? She's going to be coming at you. She's going to serve and volley. Boy.
This will see what sort of nerves young Steffi Graf has right now.
Let's see where the 2nd serve lands, how deep it is. It's out. A pretty darn good 2nd serve by Martina, but Graf got around it and just nailed that forehand.
Have a look at the guts of this young lady. Look where she is. She's outside the doubles alley to crank up on that, and she goes across to the forehand volley. It is just long. And there you see the reaction. All even, and there is Steffi Graf's dad trying to be as cool, calm, and collected as possible.
Merci.
You know, one thing about top flight tennis players, Fred, you've been there so long, you become a little fatalistic. You say, hey, if I don't make a good shot, I'm going to get beat. And that's how you end up making some of those terrific shots under pressure.
15-0.
The guy at the club level bunts it back in the air and hopes the other guy has a coronary. Another topspin backhand cross court. I'll say it for you, Fiery. You're right on.
15-1.
Yeah, good approach here. Now, Steffi lines this one up. She waits for a moment, but Martina doesn't. She's there on that forehand volley, right ready. Because the forehand volley from Graf touches the tape, as you can see here, gets a little help from the net, gets over. Martina slides this one down, gets a little help, gets over. 15-30. Tough point because there was a huge gust of wind right in the middle of that point as Martina made the return of serve, and Graf had to sort of hold up a little on the forehand.
She did. She played it carefully, got a little extra stop on it. Now Graf has the advantage, trying to move out to a 6-5 lead. Late preparation, it seemed to me there, Fred. Could have had that racket ready a little earlier.
Yeah, a little indecision there, I think. Not too sure. And that's probably the worst return that Martina's played this game. Picks up the most important point.
No mistake about that one.
Well, when you miss hit one and you get it back this short, this close to the net, you've got to guess. You've got to go one way or the other. And Martina guessed wrong. Game point.
Steffi Graf's father anxiously watching. And there is Martina. Let's let things slip away a little bit, and boy, what a magnificent half volley drop shot by Steffi Graf to win that last game. And now the pressure solidly on the shoulders of Martina Navratilova, as she'll come out to serve at 5-6, serving downwind.
Time.
And you know, again, Fred, she's going to be serving volleying, because that's what she's done this entire match. There is Renee Richards.
I think it's got to help her from this end with the wind, Tony, the way she serves and swinging that serve around. Makes things a little easier if you can just control your emotions and not try and do too much.
Mademoiselle Navratilova avec des balles
Easier said than done.
new balls.
Martina serving with new balls. That means they'll fly a little bit, a little more difficult to control it with the wind at your back. If Graf were to win this game, it would be the exact same thing that happened against Sabatini. She was down 3-5 in the third, held her serve, broke Sabatini, and came back to win 7-5 in the third. Of course, Martina has other ideas.
Well, Betsy Nagelson made the comment at the change that in long matches like this, Steffi has been a little bit impetuous and wants to put it away in a hurry and has lost them because of that. Again, Martina gets into that backhand, just sits on that forehand volley. Been making them all day. They have that on that forehand volley to make it 30-15.
Sorry, Fred. She put some pace on it, but she was careful with it. Very short motion.
Good serve with the wind out wide.
Once again, a reminder, in this final set, there will not be a tie break. So we get to 6-all, we just keep on trucking. Following this match, the men's doubles final, Guy Forget and Yannick Noah of France against Andres Yarid and Robert Seguso. So we got more good tennis for you. And Martina courageously holds serve and gains her 6-all.
Mademoiselle Navratilova.
Good volley here from Martina. Good and deep.
Dernièrement.
Again with the open court. Some of the folks in the crowd didn't realize that it's not a tiebreaker, that will be played to its conclusion. And the score at this stage is 5-all. So you got back to 5-all.
Axis now 6-all. By Martina, just chipping the ball, getting it low. Steffi tried to close in and sort of rolled over that forehand volley, didn't go under it. Whoever's running the scoreboard thought they're going to a tie break. They ran it down to 0. They're back up now to 6-all.
Up.
Absolutely perfect.
A good approach and looking for the topspin. That one down the line, pinpointed again, and Martina just shows her appreciation by clapping the strings of a racket again. She's done that half a dozen times today. So
Graf has to turn her back as a gust of wind blows the dirt up. 30-15. Beautiful. Both players producing good stuff under pressure.
30 à.
Most of it coming from this end also, Tony.
It's
Again, Steffi serving against the wind, and I think this helps Martina. Both girls have had trouble on serve from the... Again,
30-40.
Tribune Presidential from that end of the court. It's a good... Martina, look at that. Just sitting right on that one again.
Break point.
Well,
At least Graf went onto the backhand volleying side that time. She'd be going cross court with all those topspin shots, but still Martina's there. And the ball was up.
yes, it wasn't a great passing shot, but under the circumstances, good enough. Getting that nervous up here, I can't hardly hold the microphone, hardly speak at the moment. Well, there is everything in this match today. Isn't it fantastic?
One of the few offensive lobs by Graf.
Again, she reels this forehand again, but this one gets stuck. She can't play a passing shot, so she flicks it up in the air, and boy, what a time for that shot.
And into the wind, you can drive it with a little more pace. Get it over your opponent's head. Perfect shot. That's gone. Graf holds serve. She leads 7-6 in the final set. We're hiding up behind that glass in one of them as we come back on 9's Wide World of Sports. And what a marvelous women's final we're having here. We certainly hope you're enjoying it. And we are now at a situation where Martina is serving against the wind. And it's that end of the court where she's had the most difficulty. There we are right there just going by. Producer Mike Williams in the lovely green shirt.
He wears that on ladies singles finals day.
He's worn it on men's round of 16 day, quarterfinal day, semifinal day. Here we go.
Martina has not won a serve. The last two service games from this end of the court, she has been broken by young Steffi Graf. So a very severe test for her here, because believe me, she knows it.
Martina didn't get good depth on her approach shot.
Again, she's hitting against the wind, Tony, and Steffi Graf knows it. And watch what happens here. As Martina tries to get in, get the depth, doesn't get it, just slides this one down, uses the wind, takes it underneath the ball, love 15.
See, Graf was inside that baseline to make the contact with the ball, and that gets you pretty close to that net. Yeah, you sit up here Fred's sitting here applauding. You wonder how people can make their bodies respond like this, the hands, the eyes, under this kind of pressure. Topspin down the line, forces a weak volley, opening the cross court.
This is the one that wins the point because it opens up the court a little, and Martina thinks she may go back down that line again. And, of course, the favourite shot has been the cross court, and she made that one. 15-30.
Long. To Graf's credit, she did try to top it down the line. 30-all.
Martina picked up a great half volley there, too, off the return of serve.
Been after just exactly 2 hours. It's match point, folks. Match point for Steffi Graf. Her first match point in a Grand Slam final.
Good serve out here to a forehand. She just takes the pace off it, gets it short. Martina tries to get it, but just pushes at it. Follow the match.
We say it all the time, but imagine what a tough second serve this got to be. What an emotional moment for young Steffi Graf, who has just won her first Grand Slam event. Becomes the 1987 French Open Women's Champion, overcome with emotion. And Betsy Nagelson, how about your thoughts on that tremendous match?
Well, Tony, what a great match it was. It had absolutely everything in it. Both girls held themselves together so well mentally. Martina really had some chances in the third set. Break points on Steffi Graf. Just wasn't able to capitalize, to totally dominate. And what an impression this girl has made on women's tennis. You see the dejected Martina.
And Fred, your thoughts?
What an unbelievable match, Tony. Steffi Graf, just at 17 years of age, showing that composure. I feel very sorry for Martina finishing with a double fault. She had an opportunity on a backhand volley, missed it, and losing serve from that end 3 times in a row. She's got to remember that.
I'm so happy to have won it.
Well, a very, very difficult match. A wonderful match for a Grand Slam final. Anytime you get 2 of the best players in the world and they play something that close, it has to be one of the all-timers.
Martina was going to take it, and yet you think that was the panache of youth that kept you going?
I don't know, she was maybe a little bit nervous at 5-4 when she did the 2 double faults. But, I was just trying to keep in there, I was trying really hard.
Je pense qu'elle était nerveuse, elle a fait les doubles fautes à 5-4, mais moi j'essayais, je me concentrais, je me battais.
C'est la passation des pouvoirs, la nouvelle génération,
concentration.
c'est l'adieu peut-être à celles qui ont
But now
marqué
you see
le tennis mondial,
the real emotions
Navratilova et Chris Evert,
of young Steffi Graf and a very dejected Martina.
That's much early to say, It was such a close match. I mean, she had all the chance to win it, and I think we're going to have a lot of more matches. I'm sure I'm not always going out as a winner, It was so close, there was nothing you can say.
Non, on peut pas dire ça aujourd'hui. Le match était beaucoup trop serré. Je crois qu'il y aura d'autres matchs et je ne serai pas toujours gagnante.
Vous vous êtes levé juste après avoir repris Wimbledon et peut-être le Grand Chelem.
Aiming for Grand Slam?
No, I'm happy about winning this one, and I'm trying to do my best in the next, so I don't know. I'm not really looking.
Eh bien, merci Jean-Michel. Et merci Steffi.
So an emotional Steffi Graf wins her. Martina knows this feeling. She's gone up these steps, having been the winner twice. She's also been the runner-up. She was very gracious in defeat. And hail to the 1987 French Open Women's Champion, Steffi Graf, who receives the trophy, will always remember. Martina Navratilova. The entire stadium on their feet, applauding these great champions. Perhaps the start of a new era, but you certainly can't write Martina Navratilova off at age 30. Steffi Graf.
I didn't know I had to say something. I never saw the ceremonies, and I know I'm very happy in the moment that I won the match. And it was such a close one that actually I didn't thought I could win it at 5-3, but I know I was really hanging in there, and you really helped me. All of you helped me, you know, to try harder. I think it was really such a close match, you know, after we had a match in US Open when it was 7-6 in the third. I never thought we could play another that close match. It was another one. And I have to say, somehow I'm happy, but somehow also I'm sorry I didn't win the match, because I don't know, it was, I don't know, but sorry when we did it all. Okay, thanks for coming here, and I really enjoyed it very much, and looking forward to next year. Bye-bye.
Not her language, doing so well.
I hope that you enjoyed the match. Last 2 years have been close, and this one was no different. But anyway, I think you really appreciated fine women's tennis that we played today. And I would like to thank you for your support, because you made it fun to play, even though I lost it. Needless to say, I'm very disappointed, because it could have gone either way, but Steffi played better when it mattered, and she deserved to win, so congratulations. And I'd like to thank my parents and my family, and all my coaches and friends, Judy, Renee, Joe, Randy. Sorry, hopefully, I'm sure that I'll be back here next year. So if you stick around, maybe one of these days I'll finally win it. Thanks a lot.
They're both as good with the microphone as they are with tennis rackets. The 1987 French Open women's champion, the youngest ever, West Germany's Steffi Graf.
Incredible composure for somebody, and she said, I'm happy, but I'm disappointed for Martina, because it was so close. There was a point here and a point there, and I'm sure Martina will remember that high backhand volley she had, and as Steffi alluded to the fact that she was a little nervous and served 2 double faults, but when you come down to it, her last 3 service games from that end of the court were lost. And there's Boris Becker and Ion Tiriac. They were interested spectators here for this match, and a great one it was.
Yes, indeed, and a nice gesture for Boris Becker to be out. He made a very nice statement also, Fred. He said after losing to Mats Wilander, he said, Lendl and Wilander are the 2 that should be in the final. That's the way it should be. They're the 2 best on clay. So again, runner-up Martina Navratilova, 2-time champion here, comes down from the presidential tribune first. Obviously very disappointed, but very, very nice in defeat. And the new French Open champion, I'm sure a little numb, a little stunned at this stage, Steffi Graf. And this will be one of many Grand Slam events that she will win.
Most definitely, Tony, and I think another nice gesture that both Boris Becker and Steffi Graf come from a very small town in Germany, and they both live within about 40 or 50 miles from one another. They support one another, played together as juniors, and Boris comes along and supports Steffi, and Steffi, as she said, it's great to have Germans there, West Germans there, as the #2 players in the world.
So there it is, the 1987 champion, the French Open, Steffi Graf, who defeats 2-time champion Martina Navratilova 6-4, 4-6, 8-6 in just 2 hours and 2 minutes.